What's up, everybody? Or hi, three people. Hope you're doing well. Let me know if the audio is good. I'm gonna try to pay attention to the comments this time. So I was running a little bit late, but I do want to let you know I got a couple of things coming up really soon before we get into tonight's whole thing. Um, First and foremost, it's gonna be this weekend. I'm actually gonna be going out to uh, Uwari with my good buddy Jesse. We're gonna do the hard trails there, so there will be some more content coming up really soon on the channel. So if you don't know who I am, my name is Russ, and on this channel we do all things Jeeps and off-road adventure kind of things. So if you're into that kind of thing, consider subscribing. And um, I'm really close to being monetized, and I have no idea if lives have anything to do with that or not, but um, I hope so. That would be wonderful. But all of the money is going to be going to an off-road based veterans organization this time next year or September 11th next year. So that's the thing I've got going on from September 11th to September 11th. Every bit of money that is raised on this channel is going to be donated to a veterans organization. So uh, if you notice during this, there's super chats and things like that, and then in all the videos, there's like a um, I don't even know what it is because honestly, I've said this hundreds of times before on this channel. I'm not really interested in monetization for me. I love my job. I have a 9 to 5, but I want to use this channel to actually give back in the off-road community. And so my plan is for every year to take all of those donations and everything else and give them to um, a charity of some sort moving forward. Having said all of that, that's not the reason why you're probably here tonight. And I really want to talk with Ringo Solar and Nicole. I've had the pleasure of meeting her personally at a great Smoky Mountain Jeep Invasion in the past. She has an incredible collection of vehicles, and I'm going to let her into this and introduce herself and all that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to hit this button right here. Let's see, add. Okay. Hey,
Hey,
hey, how the heck are you?
good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing really good. I'm doing really good. Where are you right now?
Funny. So I am in the tiny camper
Okay.
and
All right.
had to get a little. The girls were watching a movie and it was really, really loud in the house, so I
Okay.
slipped out.
Okay. Well, man, I mean, we've got a couple people watching now, which is really great. Thank you and welcome everybody. Make sure to ask questions in the chat. There's going to be a little bit of a section a little bit later on where you can ask away, kind of a question and answer session, if you will. But welcome, Ringold Soul. So yeah, welcome to the channel, and introduce yourself to people who may or may not know you.
So I'm Nicole, and I guess it's become Wrangled Soul. Wrangled Soul is the name of my big Jeep. I have a '94 YJ, um, and I named it Wrangled Soul because it was kind of like sole is the Italian word for
Mhm.
sunshine. So it's kind of a nod to my heritage, and then like I felt like I had wrangled sunshine um, and just
That's
enjoyed. Yeah.
That's awesome. So where can people, I mean, obviously you have the YouTube channel, you have you don't really do a whole lot on YouTube.
Don't do
You do have
anything
the
on YouTube.
you do have the Facebook side of things as well. But primarily you're focused on the Instagram thing. So uh at Ringold Soul, right?
Yep, that's it. That's all it is.
Or should we say
And
Ringold
so
Soleil?
Ellie, yeah, Sole is the word, but
Yeah, yeah.
Americanized, we'll call it Soul, right?
Well, I mean, I would absolutely like. I'm 1,000% jealous. People that know me know that I love Jeeps. I have a JK, and it kind of seems to be like the only one that you don't have, right?
And I don't have a TJ.
You don't have a
I need a
TJ.
TJ.
You've
I
got
need a
two Y.
TJ.
You got
I
a
have two
CJ, two
YJs.
YJs, and well, tell the people what you got.
I've got a '79 CJ5. a 94 YJ and a 95 YJ, and last year we got a 22 JL. Uh,
So you
all
don't
of
have
them
a
are TJs.
JK.
I don't have a JK, I don't have a TJ, I don't have all the so that's actually, I think before I get a TJ, I think I want a Comanche first, but
Well, I mean, I would absolutely agree with that for sure.
yeah,
Absolutely agree with that. TJs are great, absolutely great, and even like the
they are.
2005, 6, 7 TJs Unlimited. So the JL, or not the JL, the LJ.
The LJ,
Oh,
yep.
I'm a slight bit dyslexic, I guess, but yeah, I had one for a while, and I absolutely love the motor that's in that.
Oh, yeah.
And for me, like, I got it from my buddy Brad, who got it from somebody else. I then sold it to another buddy, Brandon, and he is fully kitted it out. He's wheeling it harder than he's ever wheeled anything before. He had an XJ before, which is also not in your arsenal of Jeeps.
Nope,
Um,
it's me.
but
But
he
that's my first love, but
Well, I mean, it's pretty much everybody's, right? I mean, if you watch The Goonies, that's the one thing that's like the most
true,
memorable vehicle of the '80s to me.
true.
But well, Knight Rider is kind of like a close
Also,
second
yeah.
for me, and '70s, '80s would be the General Lee, right? But that's a whole
Yes.
other side of
Oh,
things.
yeah.
So, how did it all start for you?
It back to the XJ. My papa, um, my mom's dad, always had Jeeps growing up. And when we would go out there, I was actually just talking to my grandma because I had a faint recollection the other day, and I was like, I feel like you had like a Wagoneer or something,
Mhm,
and she did. Like she's like, yeah, we did. I remember riding in the back of it, when I was a little girl, and I loved it. It was so cool. And then just my grandpa grew up on a ranch out in Wyoming, and they had CJs, all over. And so he
mhm,
grew up and got Jeeps like all my life. So it's
right.
pretty cool. So actually, my little sister has his. He passed away a couple years ago,
Mm.
and she has his XJ. So it's pretty cool.
We're keeping that around, keeping it
Yeah,
around, keeping it in the
yeah,
family for sure.
that's
Like that,
right.
that's awesome. Like I
Yeah,
never really had like nobody in my family did off road stuff. I did the typical thing. I grew up in Alabama and then moved to Florida, and then now I'm in North Carolina. So the outdoors is obviously it's all around me. It's not the great outdoors of tall buildings and concrete. It's the actual great outdoors, and
it's great
um,
outdoors. Right.
yeah, the great outdoors, not the okay outdoors. I mean,
I'll
that's the
not
way
be
I look at
okay.
it. But
Exactly.
for me, like I've always loved being outside, going camping and fishing and all of those
Mhm.
things. And for a very large portion of my life, I wasn't able to do that. So it came into there was a time in my life where I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to get a new vehicle. I've got transmission issues with this truck I've got. What am I going to do? And I got into a Jeep for the first time, and then my life was changed in
Crazy
a
how that
way.
happens.
Yeah,
It
I
does,
know.
like,
It
you don't
happens for
expect it.
people for sure. And no, you do not expect it. Like, absolutely not. So, like, you've had Jeeps around you like your entire life. But what has led you to the point to where you now have the collection of Jeeps that you have and all of that?
Addiction.
Well,
Right?
th- call it what you will. It's a
I
hobby,
mean,
addiction, whatever.
yeah, we actually it's funny 'cause my husband and I have our own business. We have paint and body, business, and, we had a guy who wanted a car painted, and we got Wrinkled Soul like, a trade, so we bartered for it. So we did some work on this car, and then we got the Jeep. So it was a really cool deal, and so I had never I had never considered getting one until one was, like, available as an option, and I was like, "Okay, it's on now."
Yeah,
So,
it's on now. It's on
and then I
now.
was hooked.
And then so you did that, and then it
Yeah,
made you feel a certain way, like you have, as you mentioned a little bit ago, you wrangled the sunshine, and
that's it.
that has. I mean, how did it change your life?
I got behind the wheel of that, and it's not street legal, it still isn't. But just we have some acreage here, and we have, like, a lot of family land, and, so I drive it around, like, I drove it around then a good bit just around the property, and it just it just, like, opened up the whole world to me. It just even though I could
Yeah.
only have it on our property at that time, it just was just so it was just an experience because I had never off-roaded, like,
Mhm.
done off-roading or anything like that,
Right.
and but, like, we had four-wheelers and stuff, but it's different in a Jeep.
Way
Um,
different. Yeah.
it is, it's just it's a cool feeling, and, it's it just, awakened something in me, I guess, that my
It's
poor husband, he's so patient. We've got
well,
now.
well, I mean, for the same thing, I mean, he drives every once in a while too, right? Like he'll go
He
off
does.
and do that as well. And I think recently you guys just went wheeling, and I think you wheeled the JL for
We
the
did.
pretty much the first time, I think, right?
It was the
Was
very
it
first
River
time
Rock?
that I had been. Yeah, it was at River Rock. So it's not real far from our house, it's like 2, 3 hours from our house,
Hmm.
and our Jeep club is really active. The Mud Rats, Low Country Mud Rats, they're really cool. It's a great group, and they set up this trip basically for, like, a stock Jeep trip, and
Hmm.
because I didn't wanna wheel that one as much because it's my daily driver, it's stock, as far as lifts
Hmm.
go and stuff like that, and I was a little nervous to get it out there and break a bunch of stuff, but, so they planned a stock Jeep trip, and we all went out there and just had the best time. It was so fun, and my husband had never really, been into Jeeps at all. Like, he tolerated it, and he supported me very well,
Right,
but
right.
but he got hooked. He got the Jeep out there, and it got him. Like,
Really?
it got him
Re-
really good. So he
well,
got home and
okay.
he's, like, ordering parts.
Oh my god, really? Okay. All right. Yeah.
It's
So
great.
that's awesome. Like I wasn't really sure if Derek was into that kind of stuff, but then like that's kind of how it happens, right? You either
It
like
is.
you fall in love with just driving a convertible that can go anywhere. Just the feeling of that, the wind in your hair. I don't have hair anymore,
Right.
so I don't understand that feeling. But yeah, I just do that every once in a
Electric
while
block.
just for the hell of it. But when going through my beard, I guess, is what I could
Okay.
say. But when it comes to going off road and overcoming obstacles and just that pure adrenaline rush of knowing that even on a regular old dirt road and a fire road or whatever else, you can get out in
Mhm.
nature. That's one side of it. The other side of it is like the camping and the access of being able to enjoy
So true.
solitude, uh and I don't mean that like by yourself. I mean like solitude in general, so
Right.
you,
Away
your family,
from
your
general
kids, away
population.
from the
Yeah.
general population, and get out there and really explore. um, that is a whole other thing, and that's honestly why the overland side of things blew up
Yeah.
initially. Then
Yes.
COVID stuff happened and it exploded
Mhm.
even more. And
Mhm.
then the industry in that side of things, I kind of liken the overland industry with like the wedding industry, right? Everything has got the overland price or the wedding price, you know? Uh, but
True.
the at the heart of it is the passion of going outside and just enjoying being outside and being able to get to places that you can't, that most people can't. Two-wheel drive vehicles, minivans, all the things that
Mhm.
you see on the road, low vehicles, they can't do that. And that has inspired so many different things to the
Mhm.
point to where the Jeep Wrangler has become the most accessorized vehicle in the entire world, uh,
It's true.
over the Civic, over Acuras, over all that kind of
Mhm.
stuff, and I think that that's amazing, um,
It
because
is.
it's a platform that allows people to do what they want, customize it, completely individual, and the birth of a Jeep thing happened, and
Mhm.
it's all just because the manufacturer. Granted, I'm saying the manufacturer because now it's owned by Stellantis and whatever. The whole history of Jeep is so crazy,
It
um,
is. Mhm.
but what it gives you, I understand why you have four and then soon maybe five, six, or seven of them because they all offer something very different.
True.
Yeah,
True.
and so I'm very
And
happy that Derek is ordering parts now, or at least looking at them. I think that's really
me
awesome.
too. It is, it's so cool. And he was talking about getting his own. I'm like, "No, no, no. Wait, we got mine we have to put this into."
Mhm.
So,
We
it's
gotta do
neat
all
though,
those
because
things.
like, I feel what's that?
No, I was just saying that's really cool that he's into it now.
Yeah. Yeah, it is, it's neat. It's crazy too, you're talking about, each one offers something different, and that's really true. I was really honestly, I was very reluctant to dive into the newer Jeeps, like, getting the 22 just didn't sound appealing to me, but I did need a more dependable daily driver than
Mhm.
my 95 that I was driving,
Right.
and, it wasn't an appealing factor to me, but, when we first got it, like, the week we got it, I drove to Smoky Mountain Jeep Invasion, where I met you,
Right, right.
and, and it was stock, like, completely stock, and it was painful for me. It was really rough because I feel like the newer Jeeps, they're out of the factory, they lack like a personality, you know?
Right.
And that's what I love about, the older Jeeps is they have so much personality. They're quirky and fun and like, each of them is just had brings something different to the table. And then, the stock Jeep, like a stock newer Jeep is just stock JL is just I don't know, I feel like it's too cushy. But
Well,
now that
you
we
know what though? You know what? You gotta think about that, and just remember that all of those Jeeps were stock at one
yeah,
point, right?
it's
And
true.
so
Absolutely.
I think when you buy a new Jeep, you buy the feeling, right? You buy into the feeling, you buy into the crowd, you buy into what it allows you to do. And I always advise people, like even completely stock, take it out of your comfort zone. Go like join a Jeep club, whatever. I mean, that
Right.
Jeep clubs are great and they're bad at the same time. They're great to meet people that have kind of a similar outlook on jeeping and going outdoors. They're bad in the
Mhm.
sense of advice a lot of times where they're like you need to get a lift, you need to get wheels and
Right.
tires and all this other kind of
Right.
stuff. And my advice to people is to drive the thing stock and find
True.
its limits because they're incredibly capable on their own from the factory, and you don't
Yeah.
know what you like yet. Right? You buy the
True.
feeling and then you build to your liking. You
That's
build to be
exactly true.
individual out. You build to be an
Mhm.
individual or whatever. Um, whether that be just a vinyl wrap or stickers or whatever else, right? But
It's true.
don't listen to the people that are like, you have to do this, you have to
No.
do that, because you don't. I mean, stock vehicles are amazing. I've been
They are.
wheeling with a guy for
Mhm.
quite a long time who's absolutely stock, and he's gone to uh, probably 75, 80% more trails than anybody else around
Mhm.
here, even with the big lifted Jeeps and stuff like that. So,
That's
um,
awesome, and I feel like that's what River Rock did. For me, it was to help me realize how capable it is stock.
yeah, yeah,
I
for
gained a
sure.
new respect. I gained a new respect for it, for sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, what do you think? Uh, I mean, I know speaking of parts and all these other kind of things, and people are always reaching out to say, "Hey, promote my product," because you have a following and all this kind of stuff. And I do not have that. I'm gonna put that out there. I think the people that watch this channel know that. I don't ever want this to be my living,
Right.
but um, I've been approached on several occasions, and I'm of the belief that I don't want to promote anybody's product. I want to promote things that I
Okay.
believe in or I like or that I feel would fit to the people that I hang out with.
Yeah.
Um, you've got the coveted Instagram blue chip thing with 10K followers and stuff like that. And how did that happen for
It's
you?
so weird. Honestly, it's funny for me to talk about because um, I started the channel or the page whenever, I don't know, it's like right during COVID, and I made it. I was like, we're stuck at home a lot, so
Hmm.
just take pictures and post them, and that was about it. And and get ideas. My main reason was to get ideas because I wanted to build more
Hmm.
with the Jeeps that I had. And it just took off, and I don't really know how or why. I'm not a very interesting person. I'm just, whatever.
I
I just love jeans.
disagree, but that's okay.
But
Continue on.
I got it grew for whatever reason, and it I did a giveaway one time with Riker bag, and it was really cool. It was a good giveaway. But then there was a problem because there was some fake pages that were trying to poach the people that were a part of the giveaway,
Oh, that's
and
not cool.
it was not cool at all, and it really bothered me. It's to like people were sending me messages, "Hey, is this you? Like, are you?" That really bothered me a lot, and so I did the step at that point to do the blue check so that it would be like a verified, and then I
Mhm.
put, if it's not from this account, that's it. Like, I just didn't
Right.
want there to be any confusion of like whether it was me or if it was, somebody who was just pretending to be me. And
Right.
so we did that, and I don't love it. It feels pretentious, but you know,
Well, I mean,
but it's
I mean, honestly,
whatever.
I'm gonna be real with you. Like, that's like you can when Instagram rolled out the functionality of like people being able to pay for that versus like
Right.
natural and organic growth or whatever.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
lot of people just bit the bullet and paid the money and got the verification or
Yeah.
whatever else to get the views, maybe extra ad time or whatever else. People have different ambitions for a lot of things, and that's totally fine. That's why these platforms exist, right?
True.
However, that being said, you are a female in this space, and I just know that there are a lot of guys that are in this space, right? 4x4 is predominantly just full of dudes, usually like in their like 30s plus years
Mhm.
old, and I know that from every other female that I've talked to in the space, they get inappropriate comments, they get like all kinds of stuff. Um, how do you deal with that? Being a female in the space and trying to separate yourself from other people who might be have a different vision for the Instagram Jeep girl thing.
Right, right. And no shade on those women who, y are different, but I have been very intentional to portray, modesty,
Yeah.
um, on my page, and the reason is I have 2 daughters, and I know that they're gonna have social media one day, and I don't want them to be like, "Mom, what's this?" You know?
What did
And
you
so that's
do?
what have you done? You scarred me
Yeah.
for life, you know? So, that's the big thing for me, and, as far as, like, inappropriate comments go, I mean, in one ear, out the other.
Oh, that's
It's
awesome.
they stay I don't answer a lot of messages, and it's just for that reason, because I just I just don't like to engage,
Yeah.
on that, and I'm very introverted anyway. This is very, uh, trying, like, this is stretching me a little
Yeah.
bit, right? So
Full of anxiety right now. Yeah, I
yeah,
get it.
only that. So, I don't engage because it's just I'm really bad at responding anyway, even if people, like, that I wanna talk to, I have a hard time with that. Um, but and then just the messages that are, inappropriate, I do have a hard time with that. I
Yeah.
just put it over there and just act like it doesn't exist, and then it's fine. And most people are very respectful, and I think that there's a lot to be said for that. I feel like the culture that's on my page is not about that, and I really appreciate that. That I can have. I've always kind of been like a one of the guys kind of person where I, just
Yeah.
like to visit. I like to talk about the Jeeps because that's what I'm here for,
Mhm.
and so I feel like it's really cool that, most of the time that's how I'm met too, with the same respect.
Well, I think that I mean, obviously there are a lot of people that are in the space altogether, and then certain companies will take advantage of that just for awareness factor, right? So
Right.
if they can use I'm gonna say this straightforward, if they can use somebody to
Mhm.
get their brand
Get attention.
forward,
Right.
it's no sweat off their back, right? So the
Right,
person gets paid, they agree to certain things or whatever, and they post because this person has like 50,000 or 100,000 or a million followers or whatever else.
right.
Um, and that's kind of where like my background is in creative and branding, like that the whole thing, like that's what I do for a living, and I think that it's
Mhm.
amazing to find people that are in the space, especially the unicorn of a crawl her, a jeep her, a somebody that's doing the things that shows that it's not just a male space, right? It is a
Right.
everybody space. Is
Yeah.
men, women, children, everybody can
Mhm.
then go out and enjoy and explore. And that to me is Jeep, not
It is.
the accessories and the. I mean,
I agree.
I know I'm a cool like I have friends that are just mall crawler kind of people that just buy all the
More
accessories and the light
yeah.
bars for their whatever reason, but that's not me, and I don't fault them for that. Like that's their
No,
side.
right.
But I hate it when I hear from people telling me that there are all these nasty comments and nasty things out there, and then brands trying to take advantage just to sell something or whatever else. But it's a give and take scenario. Um,
It is.
so for you, I mean, I know that you have worked with certain brands, and how does that come about? Like, how do you like? What advice would you give to somebody else who's into jeeping that might have the same values as you, or even might not have the same values as you? Like, what advice would you give them about growing on Instagram, creating that professional relationship, and keeping it professional moving forward?
Right. I feel like authenticity is key. Like, you have to have something that grounds you, like something that you refer back to and be like, "Hey, does this line up with this?" And if it
Mhm.
doesn't, then you reject it. And
Yeah,
if it does, then, weigh whether it's worth your time and effort and energy.
yeah,
And and I feel like for me it's been my family, like does this line up with something that I would want for my girls? And if it
right,
doesn't, then it's an easy no.
right.
And then um and then I don't know, like the brands that I've worked with are incredible. Like there's been nothing even remotely um compromising.
Right.
Um they so I the first brand that I was able to connect with was Goat's Trail, and
Mhm.
they are just Stephanie is amazing. She is she is kind and she's creative and sweet and there was never any I don't know. She's great to work with. And then so those brands always reach out to you first. I just saw that down there. Uh,
Yeah.
um so I don't remember who reached out first with Goat's Trail. The the only brand I'm trying to think. No, I think I reached out. Well, the only brand that did reach out was Nine Line.
Mhm.
Um, and that was really cool because they're actually local to me. Um, they started here in Savannah, Georgia, and they're an amazing veteran-owned company, t-shirt apparel company,
Mhm.
and and they reached out because I tagged them and everything because I always wear Nine Line because we shop there all the time. Like it's
Mhm.
right down the road. We go there a lot and we get lots of
Right.
stuff from them. And so I would tag them and they were like, "Hey, since you're already tagging us, do you want to, jump on board?" And I was like, "Absolutely." Like that'd be awesome.
You're like, "Yes,
Um
absolutely."
yes, yes I would. And that was an easy yes because I love the things that they've done for the veteran community, like tiny house for homeless veterans, and like it's so cool. It's so cool what they've done. Um, and then Corbeau seats, I applied with them
Mhm.
because they're awesome and they're beautiful. So I put new seats in the '94 YJ. Um, and they look so good. If you haven't seen it, definitely look at it because they're beautiful. They're like the spice color. They're actually called tan, but their
Mhm.
tan is more spice and their spice is more tan. So when you
Yeah.
shop, just keep that in mind. Um, but
Noted.
yeah, they have noted. Yeah, they have, such beautiful, like they have such a beautiful finish on them, and actually, I bought extra, material to match their, extra vinyl to match the seats so that we had an upholsterer redo the door panels, and it's looking so good, it's coming together. I was really happy about it, but, so yeah, it was Corbeau and, Goat's Trail and Nine Line, and I don't think I'm, like, actually affiliated with Midland, but they had a really cool setup, for me, like, they were really nice. I reached out to get advice on a setup before we went to River Rock because I don't have
Mhm.
anything like that, any
Right.
radios or anything, and Afterglow, my 22,
Mhm.
and, so I put on there, I was like, "I was looking at this and this and this and this," and they're like, "Hey, in exchange, would you like to, we can give you this and in exchange for some content," and, it was really cool, like, and they were so kind about it. I didn't ask if they offered, and, um, they were they were just so cool, like, I was like, "My trip's still, like, a month out, like, it's not you're gonna not get a return on this for a
Right,
while,"
for a
like,
while now. Yeah.
yeah, and they're like, "No problem, it's fine." So, it was
No,
really
I
just
think that's really cool. Like I was talking like if you guys don't follow S3 magazine, if you're into cars or into like just anything vehicle based right now, news, industry news or whatever for vehicles, whatever, download the S3 magazine app. It's absolutely free. So a good buddy of mine, Jonathan Woolley, owns the company, and it used to be a magazine. They stopped the magazine, the print version of it, and they developed the app where like he's putting out 3 or 4 articles a day, just on all the things going
mhm,
on in the industry, but they just went to SEMA. One of the things that I noticed from their recent podcast, it's also a YouTube thing if you guys are on YouTube and whatever, but uh, he is telling me like the influencer side of things kind of sucks, but it also like he gets the credit, like he understands what marketing companies are doing because a lot of their
right,
budget, their advertising budget is being, kind of really cut back, especially because of the current state of the economy and everything else.
right,
The price of everything is going up, um, and so a lot of people build, especially very successful people on YouTube and everything else, like they're building things that seem like unattainable to people,
right,
right? And I've talked to Terraflex in the past because I'm a very big fan of Terraflex. They have been Jeep centric from the get go, and they were bought out by Wheel Pros, and I was really afraid that like the Terraflex brand was going to go away, and now essentially Wheel Pros bought out Hoonigan, and now Wheel Pros is becoming Hoonigan, and it's just crazy
yeah,
what money does and how it influences things for the negative. Um,
right,
but at the base of all that are still people that just want to go down to the AutoZone and buy some parts and do some stuff and tinker with things and build things to be the way that they want. And I totally understand reaching out to brands to say, hey, I have this mediocre channel or I have this very successful
right,
channel, whatever it is. I really want to, I really like your brand, do that. And then the other side, some brands reach out to you and
yeah,
you have to be able to say no if it doesn't
very
connect
true.
with your core message. And I
Mhm,
think that you hit it like hit the nail right on the head when you said, if it does not meet my core values, if it does not uh, align with what my daughters would want me to do, I'm not going to do it.
yeah,
I think that that's really cool. It's very
mhm,
admirable, and especially the companies that you're affiliated with, like Nine Line, is local to you. It's a local business for you. You're helping to support them, which you already supported before that,
yeah, yeah,
which is really cool. They give back to the community, which is fantastic.
mhm,
And other brands like that, those are the brands that I really want to be involved with. And when it comes to some foreign made or even domestically made things that are just trying to use the person, use the influencer. I hate that word,
Me
but
too,
it's
I hate
true.
it so much.
And like influencer, like I don't want to influence people to do anything. I would
Mm-mm.
much rather, as Willie said in his latest thing, is I want to inspire people. And that is a
Absolutely.
very different thing.
Right.
Um, being an influencer versus an inspirer are totally different pathways. So I
Completely
really
agree.
love what you're doing with the companies that you have chosen to connect with Corbeau and Nine Line and Ghost Trail Company and others. And I'm sure you get messages every day from brands or whatever. They're like, "Hey, promote this product" or whatever else. Um, in the decision process of saying, "Hey, yeah, I don't want to work with this brand," how do you handle that? Like, you're like, "Hey, I don't wanna work with you because you don't meet my core values."
Right.
I mean, you
Yeah,
gotta be direct.
rejected. No, it's funny. I just want to tag back really quick how you talked about, inspiring versus influencing. To me, I feel like influencing carries that like level of like manipulation,
Mhm.
and I love and so whenever somebody says, "Oh, you're an influencer," and I'm like, "Nah, but absolutely not. Please don't say that." But
Yeah,
I always want it to be authentic and I always want it to be a product that I really believe in
right.
that I think is actually really good, that I really enjoy using. Um, uh, but yeah, when it comes to, not accepting certain brands, like I sometimes introvert, sometimes just doesn't even answer. and then
Right, right.
and
You
then
just ghost them. You're like, "No, I'm
right,
done."
completely silent. And then other times, like I can say, and there have been times that they have good products and I think it's probably a good thing, but it's not what I want on my Jeep,
Right.
like if it's a part or whatever, and I just that's not the way I wanted to go. Like I've reached out before and said, thank you, I appreciate the offer, but it's not really my style or whatever,
Yeah,
and I don't wanna that way, I don't want them to think I'm trying to sever that, relationship or create any, like I don't like to burn bridges, like, there's no reason to.
true,
It's
because I mean, honestly, like, if they came out with, like, some chrome mirrors for whatever, and you're like, "Yeah, I'm really not into that. I like what your company is doing, but I'm
right,
not into that particular product." I mean, you can
right,
actually say, "Hey, well, let's keep this line of communication open. If you guys like, just keep sending me offers or whatever else, and maybe we can do something
exactly,
together in the future." Um,
exactly, and that's
I
I
mean,
mean, I think that's the best way to do it because I don't feel like, everybody's tastes are so different, and, if you cut them off like that, I feel like that's unfair to them as a company,
true.
um, and I don't think that's cool because they could reach out to somebody else and have, great results, and it fits exactly with what, somebody else wants, so.
Yeah, so keeping yourself open to future opportunities is great. And speaking of future opportunities, like um, if you had, let's just go with two, right? If you could partner up with two companies, uh, Jeep related stuff or not, just who would they be?
That's a good one. So, definitely Metal Cloak. I I love everything Metal Cloak. I My build list is all of them. Um,
Like the whole
so
list?
the
Yeah,
whole list is Metal Cloak. Um, I think they're just a great company and they have a good reputation. Everyone I've ever talked to that's dealt with them has had a really good experience. They stand behind their products. Some friends of mine wheel really hard and tear stuff up all the time, and they call Metal Cloak and like, "Hey, this broke whenever I did this." And like, "Oh, well, it should have held up, so let me send you a new one." And
that's
I mean, that's
awesome.
just yeah, it is. That's integrity, and I feel like, they have that, and, that's a company that, really stands out that, I think is really cool. I'm trying to think of another one. That's just at the forefront of my mind right now is the metal cloak, but
Sure. I mean, it's all the things that Derek's like got in his build list, right? Like, it's like just
right,
metal cloak, metal cloak, metal cloak.
poor guy.
Yeah. Mm-mm.
he's
So,
he's really taken it on though really well.
well, that's really cool. I mean, I know you've said that he's patient, but at the same time, like, I'm a married man, and I absolutely adore my wife, and I love it when she's happy with whatever it is that she's working on, right? Like, I I have my personal feelings about like she had a challenger for a while, and I absolutely like loved the fact that like she was this, you know, when we met, she was a teacher, and now she works in ed tech, the ed tech space, and developing curriculum and doing all kinds of really awesome things and winning awards and getting promoted and being a general badass um, at everything. And I love that. Um, but she saw a commercial, and that's where it like kind of like comes into my role because that's what I do, marketing, advertising, creative,
Right.
like, and she was completely influenced by a commercial
Oh,
to
no.
get rid of the V8 Challenger, which absolutely made no sense for where we are. Like, we are in the mountains, we live up a dirt road on a, I'm gonna say it's a mountain, but it's not, but we're like in a very hilly area and it's hard to get to us. But it didn't make sense. That vehicle did not make sense for her to have it. And she saw this commercial with dogs because we got a dog a while back ago, and she's like, I need something that's more dog friendly. And she decided to get a Subaru. And I was like, mm, I don't, like, I would much rather get you like a two-door Jeep, and that would be fine. But no, she saw this thing, she loves it, and I'm very, very happy for her to do
That's
that.
awesome.
But like, I'm just like, I don't know, but so the brand influence is definitely there through the creative, through the
Yeah, it
influencers or
it
whatever
is.
else. But now, like, I mean, I love that she's so happy, and I know
Mhm.
that Derek was the same about you, right? Like, just
Yeah, he
thrilled
was,
that you're thrilled with
for
something,
sure.
and
Yeah, I don't know if you
whether
saw his comment, but it popped up just a second ago. I saw it. He said he's got a metal cloak build list and that Christmas is coming.
oh yeah,
Yep.
okay,
Yep.
well, I mean,
So he's
credit card bills come too, right? So Christmas comes and then credit card bills come. That's how it works out. So,
ouch.
Metal Cloak, if
Thanks
you're
for that
watching,
reminder, Russ.
or if anybody who is watching has a connection with Metal Cloak, make sure to connect them with Wrinkled Soul, and
Eh.
there you go. So maybe there's a lasting relationship that's born out of this very conversation. Who has
Pretty
any
cool.
idea of that? Um, but I, I wrote a list over here of the things so I didn't forget in a particular thing. We talked about like Wheeling Afterglow and all that kind of stuff and the sponsorships and stuff like that. But I guess I know there are several people that are watching right now. Now is a really good time to ask your questions so that we can actually pay attention to the comments that pop up. Um,
Yeah,
if you guys
we say
have
hi
any
to him.
questions for Nicole or anything else, make sure to ask
How to
them. And Nicole, like if you want to scroll back through the things and answer the questions, like that's totally
I was
awesome.
trying to figure out how to pull them up. So they popped up every once in a while, and I could see them, and then some okay, I got it. I got them up here, let's see. Oh, aw, so cool. Alright. Hey, Heather. Mm,
Like, hey Heather, I'm not sure if you're here anymore, but if you are, comments again.
yeah, hi, Heather. Sorry, just saw
While
you.
you're doing that, I'm gonna throw another log on the fire. I'll be right back.
Yeah, let's see. Are most of these partnerships that form about on Instagram are like affiliate, that pay to advertise or maybe we should
Oh,
yes. So, I was gonna pull this up. Um, they are more like affiliate, um, affiliate sort of things, unless, um, I get it depends on what it is. Um, as sometimes it's parts, and then sometimes want to trade YJs. Um, sometimes it's parts and sometimes it's, just trinket sort of things. Like I got some wallet. I think I have it in my pocket. So, you know, little Ridge wallet, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. And it was really neat. Like that was a cool thing. A partnering with them. Like they sent this and they sent a little key fob thing, and it's really cool because it's slim. But most of them are just just like either it's an exchange, like an item in an exchange for content.
Mhm.
Um, but then like some of them are commission based too, where if you generate enough sales, then you get like a percentage, and it's usually Instagram used to do the Reels play bonus, which was really cool. You got a certain amount of money per view, basically.
Right.
They did that for like a year, and that was really cool. And I was able to generate a little income that way.
Mhm.
But right now I don't have like an income through anything that I do. It's
Mhm.
just it helps um getting parts and stuff,
Yeah,
and
getting
that's really
parts
the
for the
extent of
multiple Jeeps that you have that all
it.
require love and attention and money,
Right, so
right?
much.
Yeah.
So
So,
true.
I mean, walk us through that because I'll be 100% straightforward. Like, I have a pseudo sponsorship with Terraflex, to
Oh,
where they
yeah.
offered me some parts for essentially cost, and I made
Right,
some videos for them or whatever. But the thing of it is, I didn't have any kind of stipulations attached to that. I reached out to them and I was
right,
like, "Hey, look, I've already spent like thousands upon thousands of dollars with your company. I really love your products,
right,
and we're looking to do this. Can you help us out?" And they're like, "Well, our marketing budget is done, but
right,
what we can do is this." So they offered me the parts like at stock or at
right.
cost, essentially, and that was awesome for me
So cool. Yeah, for
because
sure.
it saved like 50, 60, 70% depending on the markup in the shop and all this other kind of stuff. And they know that I do a lot of my own work, like on my
Right.
vehicle, and the work that I don't do, I got my buddy Brad, who is direct with them, as a man, like as a shop, like he can get parts for them
That's cool.
direct. There's no middleman involved and all this other kind of stuff, most of the time. Having said all of that, like I've been reached out to from a couple of companies that like I just don't want to do business with them. I don't the brand doesn't fit what I
Right,
like to do or anything else.
for
Um,
sure.
but walk us through what it's like for you because I'm sure you get a lot more opportunities than I do. And I've never like negotiated with anybody. I just reached out and said, "Hey, here's what I'd like to do. What can we do?" You know?
Yeah, I don't really do anything any different than that. Honestly, I don't even like asking.
Yeah.
My husband's more the one who's like, "Hey, why don't you ask them if they want, if they want you to, represent or, do some content for them." And
Right.
I'm like, not really. I'm not comfortable with that. It doesn't. I'm like, I'm to me, I just don't. It still doesn't. I guess compute that. Some people might listen to what I have to say. It just doesn't. It doesn't make sense.
Well,
Um,
inspiring, influencing, again, totally different things.
again,
And
right, different thing.
uh introverted versus extroverted and being like, "Hey, like I see myself as being worth $5 million. Like, what can you do for me?" Right? Like, there are a lot of people
Exactly.
that do that. Or I have this or that or that. What can you do for me? Right?
Right,
I want. I'm not even gonna say I want. I'm gonna say I appreciate when
right.
brands reach out to me,
Yeah, for sure.
that resonate with
Mhm.
what I like to do, what my friends like to do, and all that kind of stuff. Because I feel that that
Exactly.
is the direct connection to the
It is.
passion behind what we
Yep,
do. If it
absolutely.
benefits other people and if it benefits people in such a way to where we're giving back to our local community or to veterans or disabled folks or whatever else. Like, I mean, that aligns perfectly with how I live my life. So
Mhm.
it works really well. So I can use the passion. I'm not using, nobody's using anybody. We're working
Right.
together, and I think that that's
Exactly.
phenomenal. Um,
I completely agree.
so when I asked you earlier about like what companies that you would want to like that are on that list and like Meadow Cloak, I know Meadow Cloak does a lot of builds and they do a lot of really cool things in their own local community and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Um, and are there any other like kind of shout outs that you would want to give of the companies you worked with, like Nine Line and Corbo and all these other people? Like, why did you choose to say yes to those people?
Right. Well, and I think it goes back to what we talked about earlier with, just the alignment. And so the part that I really like about, working with Nine Line and with Goat's Trail is that what I think is neat is there's a discount associated. There's something that I can pass on to other people too. Like,
Sure.
I don't wanna just be the only recipient, honestly. It and Corbeau is really cool, like, their affiliate program is really good, but, like, the way it works is there's no discount passed on to anyone else.
Right.
And so you follow a link, and then it's like, you know and
Here's
then it's
your
just,
thing.
it's my thing. And,
Yeah.
I've actually talked to them about it, and I think they're just starting out on their program, so they're still trying to, like, work it out and figure out how to they just started their ambassador program completely.
Right.
So they're just trying to, figure out what works best. And so for them to, like, maybe pass off some of, what would be like a commission for us to a discount for a sale, I feel like would be even more beneficial because
Oh, for
I feel
sure.
like it's important to I don't know, whenever I consider that, that's really a huge part of the consideration too, is because yes, it's nice for me to get stuff that I enjoy and that I think is a good product and has value and is going to work the way it's supposed to. That's all really good, but to be able to and I understand too, because sometimes that is enough.
Mhm.
Being able to say, "Hey, this brand does this really well. They make a great product, and their prices are already really good. So
Mhm.
go enjoy them." And that's how it is with Corbeau for sure. But like I would prefer to like pass on a discount too, and that's
Right.
something that I consider a lot.
So it's a shared benefit. So you're taking
Right,
the influence that you do have or the inspiration that you do have
right,
and being able to share that with others. I think that that's very admirable. I think that's very awesome. Uh, that is a kind of a first metric, or at least a top of mind metric. Let me say that
right,
because I work for a company now that doesn't really. I mean, we provide discounts, but at the same time, it's like there's really nothing behind the discount. But I I would very much I would much rather say, okay, here's a discount for these individuals or whatever. There are certain qualifications or whatever else that might arise in a marketing meeting or whatever else. But if you can take that with your following and say like, hey guys, I'm going to give you the same discount that they're giving me.
right.
Yeah, that would be phenomenal, to be able to
Yes,
share that, right? So
it
I
would.
even if they give you, like, 50% off, but then they give everybody else, like, 5% off,
Right. Something,
ki
something to
I
say,
mean
hey,
that's really cool, but again,
yeah,
like, there's profit margins and all these kind of
right.
things,
That's true.
with the business side of things, and owning a business, you guys understand that,
We
um,
do.
but moving forward, like, I mean, I think it'd be really cool. Is like, hey, like they gave me this deal. Let's share the wealth, right? With all of these
Exactly.
people and see what it
Exactly.
is. But I mean, that's just business, and it's
I mean,
probably
that's just
bad business.
idealistic, right? Yeah, it's
Yeah,
it's an
for
idealistic
sure.
concept, and that's just, these brands are all really good and and obviously, yeah, I just if I could, I would kind of thing. It's just where my heart is on it. And
Yeah. Well, I mean, I very much so appreciate that, and I appreciate you being involved in this. live thing. I know you were very anxious about it and full of anxiety and whatever else,
Yeah.
but at the same time, it's pretty easy just to talk
Yes.
about the things that are going on and all that. So, just real quickly, I want to remind people where they can find you, uh, where they can react with your content, where they can find those discounts and all those other kind of things uh, moving forward.
So,
So
link in my
tell the folks where
bio.
they can find you and stuff. Yeah, link in bio kind of stuff.
Link in bio. Yeah,
Yeah,
there we go.
go
So
ahead,
I
tell
am
people
on
where they can find you.
Instagram. Yeah, I'm on Instagram as Wrangled Soul. Like Wrangler, but with a D instead, and then Soul like SOLE. And then I do have a link tree in my bio on Instagram.
Yeah.
And it's got my Facebook and it's got my all my links for everything and all that good
Oh,
stuff.
well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Are there any discounts or are there any brands that you want to shout out real quick? Because I know that you have the affiliate program or whatever else it is,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
uh,
so Ridge does have a discount. And Goat's Trail has a discount
mhm.
and Nine Line has a discount. So if you go shop with Nine Line, the discount code is Wrangled 15. I had to think about that because then for Goat's Trail, it's
You're like,
Wrangled.
it's all the 15% and all this other kind
Right,
of stuff. So
right.
let me say this. After this live is done, this will be turned into a video or a yeah, just a post or a video on
Yeah,
the Adventurous YouTube channel. So if you could go in and put those discount codes in there for people as a comment on
yeah,
that video,
sure.
then people can just that are watching this now or watching it in the future, they can, you know, go down and find those links or whatever and for the discount codes for all of the brands that you represent.
That would be awesome. I can do that.
Oh,
Yeah, I was trying to.
that would be rad. Hey, I know there are so many of you guys that are still watching right now. So if there are any questions, this is your chance before we call it an evening because I am old and I am tired.
I was trying to read these too. Um, Jonathan, I do love your YJ, but I'm keeping my 2. Thank you very much.
Okay, there you go.
Uh, let's see. 5 generations of Jeeps, 80 CJ7. Nice. I love the sevens. 95 YJ, 22 JL. Yeah, you can't have too many. I love your variety. Yes, you were,
Dude,
Derek. Oh my
and
gosh.
Derek, I probably was too. Like 9, 10, 9:15. Like, yeah, I was asleep. I'm probably gonna be asleep in like 30 minutes from now for sure.
Oh my god.
But I've got to make sure to be safe for this fire here. So, you know, it's on a wooden deck, by the way. So
Oh,
there's
that's
that.
fun. Good call.
Yeah, yeah, good call. Yeah. So, but guys, I really appreciate you guys watching this. And again, I am doing uh, a donation of everything that I do on this channel from September 11th to September 11th is being donated to a veterans organization at the end. So if you have a super chat or anything like that you want to throw into this or any of the videos on the channel, make sure to do that. Make sure to follow Wrangled Soul on Instagram. Uh, Message, share, all those kind of things to help her continue on her path of growth um, for that channel to support herself, her Jeep builds, her family moving forward. And leave some comments on this video, all that kind of stuff. Share it to your friends and all that kind of good stuff. I know that Nicole doesn't necessarily have a YouTube channel that she posts stuff on, but I'm really trying to say you should probably do that moving forward, which would be great. Thank you so much, Appalachian Adventures. Speaking of which, guys, there are Patreon things for Appalachian Adventures. If you are not familiar with his channel and his family, they go explore everywhere in the Southeast,
Mm,
and it is fantastic. It's a great channel to watch. So make sure to support them either by subscribing and watching their YouTube videos. They're on Instagram. They have a shop by Overland Apparel, I think, and then they also have the Patreon stuff. Um, to make sure to support each other through all of this stuff in this economy. We can all use it, which would be fantastic. Whether it's to benefit families, friends, and brands that we all love. So thank you so much, Nicole, for being a part of this and doing this. I know that you're full of anxiety and all of this about coming and doing lives and stuff like that as an introvert, and I totally understand that. But man, I
But I
just
love what you do. I really
well,
do, Russ. You do such a good job, and I just love it. So I'm really honored to have the opportunity to talk with you.
well, thanks so much. I appreciate it so much, guys. And you guys have a wonderful evening. And I hope you are living life adventurously. And until next time, I will see you on the trail. So I am going to end this now. Y'all have a great night. Peace out.
Bye.
Bye. Boop.